going to model this combat knife. I was asked if I would do a video on how to model a knife, and I had never done one before. So I looked around on YouTube and I found this really great tutorial here by this guy Marco Yolo 187. We don't know each other, and so hey Marco, I hope you don't mind. I'm sort of basing my video off of your excellent video, and in this video Marco Yolo 187 uses an image from the internet, which is very freely available. You guys can find it, and he does a sort of a low poly model. The blade is low poly as well, and then he does a really awesome job at unwrapping it and texturing it. And I am just going to model the thing and put some colors in it. So but I've made some changes to sort of do it in my style, but similar to what he did. And so what I did is I drew a knife here, and I'll provide this image in case you wanted to do it this way and follow along and have the actual image. By all means, go and check out his video as well. So I'll provide this image that you can download, and then you can use this as a reference and model against it. And some of the changes that I made to his version of modeling the knife was instead of sort of box modeling with a cube out and doing the blade that way, I decided that I would use curves. So I'm going to use two curves. I'm going to use a curve here, and then I'm going to use a curve here, and then I'm going to join them there. I'm going to fill this, all right, and then I'm going to add some thickness. I'm going to extrude to get some thickness, that kind of thing. And I'm also going to do this part here a little bit differently as well. You could just use a cube and just extrude it out and bend it, that kind of thing. I'm going to do it differently, so I'll show you that. All right, so very similar to his version of doing it, and of course he's the inspiration for it, but with a little bit of my own personal touch to it. So let's go into Blender. And I'm just in the default scene here. I've just deleted everything though, and I'm going to do it in the top view. So I'm going to switch to top ortho by hitting 7 and 5 for ortho. And this I'm looking straight down, and I'm going to bring in that reference image. So I'm going to hit N on the keyboard and come over to my screencast keys on, of course, so you can see what I'm hitting. My background image, I'm going to add an image, and I'm going to open that image, which is, I think it's this one. No, it's not that one. Let's search for this thing. All right, let's just do it this way. All right, I think it's just that. All right, so I'm going to hit N to close that side panel. So there you can see, and just with some text information, in case you forget along the way. All right, so my 3D cursor is right here, and I'm going to just center this up a little bit, but it really doesn't matter for this. And I don't even have to switch what, where I want to view this, all views, top view, that kind of thing. I'm just going to leave it there. All right, so let's just move this just a little bit down like that. Okay. Good enough. So I'm going to start by doing the blade, and I'm going to be using a curve. So I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm going to add curve path. I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to line it up with this part of the blade. Bring it over. All right, sort of in that area anyhow. All right, I'm going to go into edit mode. All right, you can get into edit mode down here, object mode, over to edit mode. And I'm going to extrude and press G and just pull this up right to where the tip of the blade would be. And I grab this point, and I'm just going to start pulling. Oh, another thing I think I might do, actually, just in case it's a little bit hard to see this, is I'm going to switch the color of my wire here. So I'm going to come up to user preferences, and for wire edit, I think I'm going to switch for now to like a red color. Okay, and that might make it just a little bit easier to see what's going on here. All right, so I moved that point to there, and I pulled that point over a bit, and I'm going to grab this point, I'm going to pull it up here, tighten that up a bit, and just sort of manipulate this until it looks good. Go back into object mode, and you know, it's going to take a few tries until I get what I want. And it doesn't have to follow the diagram exactly. All right. So if I go like that, and then I can see, okay, that's a, you know, decent looking blade part there. So I'm going to now go Shift A, and I'm going to add another curve path. And bring it up to here. All right, go into edit mode, hit E to extrude, and G, I'm just going to bring it down to there. I'll start doing this part, pulling points around. Oops. Actually, I think what I might want to do is I'm going to select these 2 points and hit W and subdivide. That's a better idea, I think. I can just hit go to move these. And now that I've done that, I'm probably not straight anymore. I can straighten those in a bit. Let's have a look at that. Getting there. Come out here. I'll get a little bit more work on this. Bring that one a little bit closer. Tighten that up. Okay, let's say that was roughly what we were looking for. Let's just we'll hit B to box select, and I'll grab all these vertices here, and I'll go, I want to scale them. I want them all zeroed out on the y-axis, so we'll go scale y0 in case I change that a bit. Let's have a look. Okay, let's assume that's good enough for now. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go Alt-C, and I'm going to convert this curve into a mesh. I'm going to do the same thing for this one, Alt-C, convert it to a mesh. I'm going to grab the 2 of them, and I'm going to go Control-J and join them. So it's one object now. I'm going to go into edit mode, and I can see the vertices. So I'm going to come right down to the point here. And I can still add, so I might go E, G, and add another point if I wanted to. And then maybe I'll grab, I think I'll just grab that and that one, and I'll go F to make a face. That's not overly sharp there. Oh, it's okay. It's so small. Okay, then I'm going to come down to this side here, and I'm going to take this point from the top curve and this point from the bottom. I'm going to go F to make a face, and I want to make them straight in the X. So I'm going to go SX0. Okay, pull them back a tiny bit. So I'm going to zoom out, hit A to select everything, and F to make a face. Turn this a little bit, hit E to extrude, and I'm going to pull it up in the Z direction a little bit. Now I'm going to hit A to deselect and A to select everything, and Control N to flip any polys that were inverted. So there's my knife blade, or starting anyhow. I'm going to go back into edit mode and switch over to edge selection. Now I've been just doing the hotkeys, but you can do that down here. Now I think I may change this back now to sort of a lighter color. Alright, it's like that. I'm going to select that edge. I'm going to go Shift Alt and click on that edge, and Shift Alt and click on that edge, and I'm going to bevel these. Control B, pull back. I hope they're not crossing. Okay, just a small bevel like that. And there's my blade. Look down from the top, so it doesn't match the diagram perfectly, but it's just a blade. Let's go into wireframe, and let's work on this part here. In order to do this, this is going to be a little indentation in the blade. I'm going to bring a circle in, and I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to pull half over to here as well, and then I'm going to join them up. So let's bring it in. It's going to come in at my 3D cursor. So let's bring in a mesh circle, and it's in the right orientation, but just in the wrong spot and size. Let's scale that down. Zoom in. Okay, good enough. Now I'm going to go into edit mode and switch over to vertex, deselect, and then press B and drag out a rectangle around all of these vertices, leaving the top one there, sort of the 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock position. Delete those and hit A to select the rest, and I'm going to copy this. So I'm going to go Shift D to duplicate, and I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees in the Z direction. Rotate Z 180. Cool. Now I'm going to bring it back over to here, and then I'm going to select that vertex and shift select that one and hit F to make face. This vertex and that one, F to make face, deselect, A to select it all, and F to make a face. Now I want to use this to create an indentation in the blade, so I need to give this some thickness, so I'm going to extrude it, E to extrude, I'm going to pull up, and I'll just deselect and hit A and Control N just in case any of my polys are flipped. Let's go back to there. Oh, let's bring it up. Okay, let's set the origin to geometry so it goes right into the middle, and that's what I got so far. So I am going to making sure that the blade is selected, and I go Shift S, cursor to selected, so that's right in the middle of the blade. I'm going to take this and push it in a little ways. I should go to 1 and look right in, and you know, you can view this in wireframe if you like to see how far down you're pushing it. Okay. I want to take this piece now, and I want it on the other side as well, and so I'm just going to look on this end here. I'll do it in wireframe, and I'm going to go with that thing selected, Shift D, and I'm going to pull this down, okay, till it looks like it's roughly in the same position. Good enough. Okay, there we go. Let's select this one and this one and join them. Sorry, baby was crying. Anyways, we've got these two pieces positioned, and so now I'm going to perform a Boolean on this. So I'm going to select the knife blade, and I'm going to go Boolean difference, and I'm going to select that, apply, select it, and hide it. Okay, so now I have a little indentation. Now I think I'm going to come over to my shading, and I'm going to add a matte cap, this material there, and hopefully it's not too dark for you to see, but it makes it a little easier to visualize things. Okay, now these are very sharp edges, so let's give a shot at beveling them. So go into edit mode again, and edge selection. I think I will grab, I think I'll do just the top edge there, and the top edge here. In other words, not grabbing the this one here. Sometimes I bevel that edge too. Okay, so let's go Control B, pull away like that. Roll your mouse up a couple of times to get a couple segments, and that will do that right there. Okay. Now, if you needed to smooth it, you could go in and in face select mode, grab that or select that face and go Control plus a few times, maybe up to there. And then in shading UVs, you could go smooth, and you can see if you like that. You might not like it on that poly, so let's see what happens if I just flat that. You know, you could do that, and that would smooth the polys a little bit and look a little bit better. You're probably not zoomed in that much, so I could do that on the other one as well. I doubt you would even see that, but I'm going to select that one, and I'm going to go up. I think I went up 2, I can't remember. And I'll deselect that one, and I'll smooth that. Okay, we'll just leave it like that. Okay, so that's about it for the blade itself. Well, it's a question of actually how thick you want it. Scale in the Z. I could do that, just leave it like that. Okay, top view again. And I'm going to move on now to working on this part here. So I'll just select this, Shift S, cursor to selected. Okay, it's already there. Fine. Actually, what I might do, I think, is I select this back poly, Shift S, cursor to select this. So the next item I bring in will come a lot more closer to that region right there. Well, right at that region, and more where I need it for this part. Now, the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to bring in a plane. just like that. And I'm going to go into edit mode and vertex. I'm going to go Alt M, merge at center. So I'm going to get 1 point. I'm just going to pull it over just a little bit. All right, and I am going to go E to extrude, G to go, and I'm going to pull it right up to here. I can straighten these later. And I'm going to go E to extrude, G to go, right to the end of that. And that's it. I'm going to come back down to this one, E to extrude, G to go. I'm going to pull it right down to there. E to extrude, G to go. Now, they're not exactly the same. I could have mirrored them, but that's fine. All right. So now I'm going to box select these ones that should be straight, and I'll go SX0 to make sure they are straight. Come back into object mode, and I'm going to add solidify. No, I'm not. Sorry, not yet. Back into edit mode, sorry. And I'm going to select this, and I'm going to extrude it. I'm going to extrude, and I'm just going to extrude down a ways. All right, we can work on the thickness of this later, or the positioning. Actually, maybe we'll look at it right now. Where is it? What have I done? There it is. Okay, let's look at through from that angle. Maybe we'll go in wireframe and just try to center it up, like something like that. Okay. Okay, cool. And what we can also do in edit mode is I can grab these poly vertices and those vertices, and I can scale them in Z a little bit, make it go down like that. Okay, back in object mode, I'm going to add solidify. I'm just going to start cranking this up until I like the thickness. Okay, maybe something like that. And because I haven't applied it yet, if I want to, I could select those two and these two, and I could bend them in a little bit more if that's what I wanted to do. All right, so I got that. And then it's debatable if you want those sharp edges or not. If you didn't, you could go in edge selection, go Shift Alt and click the edge. Actually, I think I'll apply the solidify first. Let's apply the solidify, and then Shift Alt, click them all, and we'll go all the way around. And then you could bevel those. So Control B, pull back, and bevel that. It's not that much of a problem if you just wanted a more rounded kind of look on the inside and the outside. I'm not sure if you like that, or if you prefer this the sort of low poly kind of look. What actually maybe what I would do is I'm going to select that edge and that edge. I am going to do some beveling those edges, and I'll bevel those a little bit, and then select the top, and I'm going to have to go around multiple passes to get everything. So I'm just Shift Alt clicking, trying to get everything there, and I'll do the same on the bottom. Okay, and then I'll Control B and pull a little, just a little bit, and I'll put like 2 segments, and then I'll, it'll be a little bit more refined with the bevel. Now I could be using, I suppose, the bevel modifier. Not sure why I'm not, but all right, so cool. So there we go. Now what we'll do is we'll take this, and maybe we'll grab that edge and go Shift S, cursor to selected. So my 3D cursor is right there. I'm back in object mode, and I could go origin geometry as well. I'm going to go Shift A to add a circle, but I'm going to switch this to 6 sides, and I'm going to rotate Y 90 and scale this down. I'm really not looking at the diagram very much. Let's pull it out, and let's try scaling this in the Y. Scale this in the Y. Scale it in the Y until we can see that it roughly matches the diagram. And it seems to be, it's off-centered in all the pictures as well, just like that. All right, we'll try that, and we may modify it a little bit. Okay, so let's go into edit mode. I have to make a face, and we're gonna extrude, E to extrude. I'm gonna pull it all the way to there. Okay, I'm going to wireframe mode, and then I'm just going to add 2 edge loops to this. Actually, let's pull this back a bit. Let's grab that. We'll pull it back a little bit. All right, I roll my mouse up twice like that, and I think that's good enough. I'm going to scale it out and up, but not in the X direction. So I'm going to go Scale, Shift X, and I'm going to just pull. I'm going to just get a bit of a curvature. And then I think I'll go back in, box select this, and I'll Scale, Shift X down in a little bit, just to follow that a bit, just a little bit more. All right. Okay, cool. All right, well, now it's time to make these little indents scale in between two edge loops. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to go Control R here, and I'm going to want to move this, but if I just move it like this, it's going to affect the curvature. So I'm going to go Control E and edge slide, and then I can just pull it along, and it doesn't change. The edge follows the curves. All right, so deselect there, Control R, and I'm going to go Control E, and then right away it remembers, and I'm just going to slide. I don't have to select it. So I'm going to do that. It's going to do that for all of them. Now I've got this one here, and I might just Control E, edge slide, and use it. And that'll change the curvature a little bit, but I'm okay with that. Control R and Control E, edge slide. There. I faked it. I just pulled that one. Oh well. Okay, so grab this one, Control E, edge slide as well. Okay. Control R, edge slide as well. And we got two more. Let's grab this and Scale, Shift X a little bit more. Okay, and maybe we'll do that over here as well, just a tiny bit. Scale, Shift X, pull it in a bit, so we get a bit more of a curve. So we got those going on. It's not quite following the diagram, and that's fine, because my diagram I just drew it quickly in Flash, and it's not meant to be a perfect thing. Okay. All right. Anyways, with that, what you then do is in between the two edge loops, you go Control R, put one right in the middle, and I'm going to do all of them at the same time. I think Control R, right in the middle, and just accept. Okay, so that's what we have so far. And then what you do is you go Shift Alt and you click on the edge so that it goes all the way around. Okay. All the way around. Shift Alt and clicking on all of them. And now I'm going to scale them. I'm going to pull them in, but again, not in the X direction. So I'm going to go Scale, Shift X, and I'm just going to pull in a little bit. Okay, and this is the effect we're going to get. Okay. All right, and you can decide if you think that's too thick or too flat. You want it rounder, you know, or maybe you want this. Let's say we scale that in the Z. So you did that, and then you could take this and you could go scale this in the Z if you wanted it a little bit more round. Kind of thing. Okay, and then basically what you do, and I'll be off the diagram a little bit perhaps, is you just come to the very end there. I'll just select it in face mode, and you extrude one more time right to the end, just like that. And then you come in here and you go Control R, just add a couple of edge loops. You can scale them in the X if you want to pull them apart a bit. All right, I'll go back into wireframe there. And then you're just going to just grab all these vertices here. All right, and we're going to scale this outwards, but not in the X. Scale, Shift X, and that'll give you this effect, sort of for the very end. And that's it, basically. Okay, and that's your knife. Okay, you just have to decide if you think that was thick enough. It's pretty easy to do, so you could make that pretty quick. Scale in the Z. You know, if that's a concern at all, and you could go over and add materials if you wanted to. I don't know. And let's get rid of that. You do something like that, and you could, for this, you could do something like that. Maybe add the same one. Or maybe that could be green. I don't know if that would look dumb. You know, however you want to do it. But that would be, that's it basically, you know, aside from, you know, adding better better textures. You know, I don't think this would work all that well in a game. It's not very high poly, but it's a little bit more high poly because of you know, all of the vertices by using curves. But I like the effect much better using the curves than just sort of box modeling this out and that, although, you know, you get a little bit of a weird effect because you've got very boxy here and not boxy there, but I still think it looks rather cool. So anyways, I hope you like that. Thanks for watching.